This is my audience. Helicopter parenting is a parent that is overprotective, always hovering and smothering their children. Do you believe in this type of parenting? My name is Elizabeth Solomon, and I'm going to be talking about why helicopter parenting is not a good parenting technique. The National Survey of Families and Households in the U.S. Census Bureau revealed that roughly 1 in 10 adults aged 25 to 34 are still living with their parents. Professor Chris Sergens from the University of Arizona concludes in his study, the paradox of this form of parenting is that despite seemingly good intentions, the preliminary evidence indicates that it is not associated with adaptive outcomes for young adults and may indeed be linked with traits that can hinder a child's success. Don't you think being honest and not sheltering your adolescent children will help them grow into strong-minded individuals with the power to make their own decisions and trust their intuitions? Isolation of real-world events creates lack of understanding how society functions. In most instances, parents believe that they should shelter their children from certain books, movies, and video games because they have cursing, violence, and sexual connotation. However, this results in children not knowing the reality of the world, lack of believing in their gut feeling, and not knowing how to handle difficult situations that they are going to be subject to. Although society puts contact rating on everything, it doesn't mean a parent has to follow the guidelines with their kids. Parents have the ultimate say-so in what their child reads, watches, and hears. Take movies, for example. Just because there is a movie rating of PG-13 does not mean that a 9-year-old can't watch it or that they shouldn't. In a lot of cases, PG-13 and R-rated movies are not bad experiences for children. A significant amount of movies are fiction, but the scenarios in the movies actually happen in real life. These are real-world events that are literal and true in nature. The events, though harsh, have educational experiences that should be taught. Children need to be able to recognize the right from wrong in things, and that is why parents should allow them the exposure. Parents need to help educate and teach their children the right and wrongs of the world. The best way to do that is through experiencing it firsthand. For instance, the divorce rate is so high in the United States that it is inevitable that children will be subject to it one way or another. They will need to understand it, why it happens, and how to deal with it. Honesty and communication with children is going to allow them to communicate with their parents and validate their intuition. Children are very smart and intuitive. They can tell when their parents are lying, when their parents put on a fake smile, and when their parents are upset. But when it comes to someone other than their parents, children believe everything that is said to them and their gut feeling goes out the window. Being honest with your children, no matter what the circumstance, is only going to strengthen their feelings of knowing when something is wrong. They will know what that gut feeling is and when to listen to it. The stress of peer pressure in society, with the stress of peer pressure in society, children don't know how to handle difficult situations. There is so much peer pressure at school. There's peer pressure on how and what to look like, how and what to wear, and how to act, and the list goes on. When parents try to shelter their children from all the bad in the world, the kids don't know how to deal with the bad that they are exposed to. Children will naturally want to do things that are rebellious because it is what their friends are doing. Only when parents have educated them in what to expect and all the consequences, the more likely they will say no. Keeping your children in the loop of what's actually going on in the world is going to allow them to make confident, reasonable decisions about certain situations. Not sheltering them is going to help them see not just the good in the world, but the bad also, and the guidance needed to make good decision making. Despite everything parents try to shelter or elude their kids from, it is inevitable that they are going to witness it for themselves. Nearly every aspect of society is filled with negativity. From the internet to television, from advertising to advanced marketing, negativity is surrounding the youth. Billboards, movies, magazines, especially social networks, are filled with negativity. Negativity is a sure constant that surrounds children daily. With technology, everything is far more advanced and it's only getting worse. Majority of our websites are visited each day. They have advertisements or pop-ups that are adult-only material. Once a child clicks on it, it is bad news from there. Society is only going to get worse as time goes on. Technology is only going to get better, and peer pressure is only going to get more stressful. If parents don't expose their children to all of it now, they will not know how to handle the world when they do get exposed. Being honest, keeping an open mind, and not overbearing is only going to help your child be able to handle all the craziness that society today has to offer. Whether parents like it or not, children will be exposed to all the negativity one way or another. So be the one to expose them and teach them the right way to handle it. I'm going to end with a quote from Jeffrey Bryant. Parents, teach your children to express themselves. Teach them to be in touch with their emotions, to speak honestly to people, to maintain integrity, and stick by their principles in all that they do. This perhaps is the highest morality you can